Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. So in the last session, we have seen the what is AWS global infrastructure, and also we have seen like how to create our AWS account using the free plan, right? But unfortunately, I had multiple AWS accounts, and I was not allowed to create a free plan, and automatically my account was converted into paid plan. Even in such cases, also, if I don't use any services, I won't get any bill at the end of the month, right? Okay. So first thing, we created the AWS account, but we haven't seen how to log in, right? At the time of creation, we got one option or a button called Go to Management Console. We clicked and we were able to access the AWS account. But how to log into our AWS account? First, we will see that, and then we will move into our first AWS service called Identity Access Management. Okay. Right. So first, how to log in is the URL is aws.amazon.com. aws.amazon.com, the same URL which we used to create the AWS account. Just type aws.amazon.com, and here on the top right side, you can see one option called Sign into Console. Click on Sign into Console. Then it will takes you to a page where we need to log in. But there are two different options to log in. Okay, so here, see, by default, sometimes the reason behind why I'm getting this window is I use IAM users to log in using this browser, so that's why I got this particular page, right? So whatever the AWS account we created, at the time of creation, what we used our email ID, right? We used an email ID, and with the help of this email address, our AWS account has been created. Whenever the AWS account got created, there is one user called root user. The initial user which is created with your AWS account is called as a root user. And this root user is the owner of the AWS account. He is the owner of the AWS account. The root user can do anything on the AWS account, including deleting the entire AWS account. He is the owner, like a kind of a property owner. So he can sell his property, he can demolish his building, he can do anything, right? But the tenants who are staying in that particular building can utilize the entire building, but they cannot sell or they cannot do any modifications, right? So here, whatever the user account created along with the AWS account creation is called as a root user. And all other users which we create for login purpose is called as an IAM user, which we will discuss in some time. So how to log in for the first time? And I said the user is the root user. But here, what it is showing, it is asking you to log in as IAM user. But we don't have any IAM users yet. Even we don't know what is an IAM user, right? So if you observe here, there is one option called sign in using root user email. That is the option which we have to use for the very first time. Just click on that. Then here we got two options, right? We are trying to log in as a root user. Generally, in the real time, we don't use the root user for day-to-day activities. We don't use root user for day-to-day activities. Then what is the purpose of the root user? The root user can be used for the initial setup of your AWS account. Let us say I am working for a company. So I want to create some servers and all. But even in that case also, I'm not recommended to use the root user for my day-to-day activities. What I have to do, I need to create one user account for myself with my name, like first name dot last name or whatever the organization follows. And I need to assign the required permissions to my user, and I have to use my user to log in. That is called as an IAM user. That we will discuss in the IAM topic. So first log into root user, select this one. Here, enter the root user email ID. Click on next. Then it will ask you to enter the captcha just to know that you are human. Then enter the password. Verification code. It seems they sent a verification code. Just give me a second. Let me open my email just to check the what is the verification code and all. Okay, so I got the verification code on my email. Let me enter that. Okay. So for now, I will ignore this. I will explain what it is and all the things. So what is happening here? Generally, whenever you try to log into your email or any kind of an account, the way is to enter the username and password combination, but which is not the right way to maintain your accounts. The reason is someone might guess your password and they might log into your AWS account or any kind of an account. That's why always it is recommended to enable multi-factor authentication. We call it as MFA. Few people call it as two-step verification and so on. But the concept is going to be the same, multi-factor authentication. What is the meaning of a single factor authentication? If you use username and password combination to log in, there's a single factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication means along with the username and password, you have to assign randomly generated, or we can say not randomly because it follows some kind of algorithms, dynamically changing one-time code. So if you're doing some kind of a banking transactions, you receive a OTP, right? One-time password, which is valid for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. That is what the multi-factor authentication for extra security. The same way here, we have to enable multi-factor authentication on your AWS account. So here, what will happen if I skip? My AWS account will be available without any multi-factor authentication. See here, there is a warning. We must register or we must enable MFA for the root user within the next 35 days. That is a mandatory thing. You must enable. Earlier, there is an optional, but now you must enable multi-factor authentication within the next 35 days. But what I do now here is I will skip for now. Once we log in, again, I will show you how can we assign this multi-factor authentication and all the things. Click on skip for now, and we can log in successfully to the AWS account. So this is how the AWS console looks like. And here, see, if you see on the top left side, there is some menu button. If I click here, you can see all services. You can see the list of all services available on AWS account. Okay. And then here on the top bar, you can see Asia Pacific Mumbai. This is the region. If I create an EC2 instance, or if I create a database, or if I create an S3 bucket for storage, all those will be physically available on the Mumbai geographical location. If I need a server in United States, just I need to switch to that particular region, and then I need to enable, or I can create whatever I want, right? Okay. And then on the top right corner, you can see the account ID, which is 8925 something, right? This is a unique ID which is generated for your AWS account. And then here, this is the name which we assigned for our AWS account at the time of creating the AWS account. And if I click on account, you can see the information about the AWS account, including the account ID, what all we have seen. And if you remember, in the last session, we enabled Hyderabad region, right? See here, by default, that is in disabled state. And once we click on enable, it will take 10 to 15 minutes of time. And that region will be available for you to create all your resources. Okay. Now, the first thing what we have to do is multi-factor authentication must be enabled. Multi-factor multi-factor authentication. What is a multi-factor authentication? A two-step verification for your AWS account. What is the use case? Security. Because someone might guess the password, but nobody can guess the dynamically changing six-digit code. So now the immediate question is, do we get a code on your mobile phone? That's not how it works. There is something called MFA device. There is something called MFA device, multi-factor authentication device. This can be a physical device or it can be a virtual device. First, what I do is I will open the Google and I will show you the MFA devices which are available in the physical format. You can say MFA device, and if I click enter and if I click on images, you can see something like this. This is one type of MFA device. How it should be used? While you are logging into the AWS account, this device must be connected to your machine, or else you are not allowed to log into the AWS account. This is one type of MFA device. And the other MFA device is, this is the kind of a thing. We can call it as a RSA keys also, a small device on which we have a screen which will generate a six-digit code. But the question is how your AWS account knows that which MFA device is used for your AWS account. That is what we are going to configure while enabling the MFA device. But these we have to purchase, right? By spending some money and all. Apart from this, we have a virtual MFA devices, which are kind of mobile applications. I think you might heard about Google Authenticator, right? Google Authenticator, which is a mobile application which acts as an MFA device. Now I'm going to use that Google Authenticator app to enable multi-factor authentication on my AWS account. So first thing, you can go to the Play Store, or if you're using Android, go to the Play Store, or if you're using iOS, just go to the iOS store and download the Google Authenticator app. Or there are a number of things. Microsoft Authenticator is there, even you can use that also. Duo mobile app, you can use any authenticator app to enable multi-factor authentication on your AWS account. Now let's see how to enable that multi-factor authentication. So on the top right side, just click on your account name, then go to security credentials here. Okay. The moment once you click on security credentials, what is the warning message? You don't have MFA assigned. As a security best practice, we recommend you assign MFA. And just by clicking on assign MFA, we have to enable. But before getting into that, you can see what is the service name here. Identity and access management means this MFA is a feature available under the service called identity and access management. Okay. And if you see here, while we are in the identity and access management service, what is the region it is showing? Global. Let me change this region to Hyderabad or Mumbai or whatever. There is no option. The reason is this particular IAM service is not a region specific. It is a global service. What is the meaning of a region specific? There is a server. If I create a server, that server will be physically available in that particular region. But these all are the security related configurations. These are not region specific. They belongs to a global. Means if I enable multi-factor authentication, that multi-factor authentication is active or enabled on your AWS account from all the regions. Like if you log in from India or you log in from US or somewhere else, the MFA is always enabled. And whatever we use or we create in this particular service, they are available globally. They are not a region specific. There are very few services which are global services. At that point of time, I will explain or I will mention that, okay, so and so service is a global service. Apart from that, all other services are a region specific. Okay, let me click on assign MFA. Device name, you can use some device, like if you are using on your personal mobile, or if you are using on your office mobile, or you can use some name, whatever the name you want, just you can use it. I can say my phone, whatever, ABCXYZ also works. That doesn't matter. See here, there are three different options. Passkey or a security key means you can use the fingerprint sensor or a face unlocking mechanism which are available on your laptop also. You can use such options also, or authenticator app or hardware TOTP token means the device on which we have a small screen which will display dynamically changing 6-digit code. But I'm using authenticator app. Select that, click on next. Now just on your mobile phone or wherever you install that Google Authenticator app, just open it. If you want to see what all applications are supported for this MFA, just click here. A new tab will be open. Let me show you. So if you're using an Android mobile, Twilio, Duo Mobile, Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, and a Semantic a VIP Authenticator. These are the virtual MFA devices supported on AWS. Okay, here I will click on show QR code. Now on my mobile phone, I open the Google Authenticator app. So here I click on a symbol called a plus. Then I will get an option called scan a QR code. Just I will select that and I will scan this QR code which is available on my laptop screen. Now I can see a 6-digit code. So here I need to type the 6-digit code which is available on my Google Authenticator, and then I need to wait for 30 seconds, and immediately another 6-digit code will be generated. You should enter two consecutive 6-digit codes displaying on your Google Authenticator app. You should not miss something. Based on these two, it will identify which application you are using and on which mobile the application is exist. And from now onwards, it will only accept the code from that particular Authenticator app. Now click on Add MFA. Now my AWS account is linked with the Google Authenticator app, which is available on my mobile phone. Now what I do, I have to verify whether the MFA is working or not. What I have to do is I will sign out. How to sign out? On the top right corner, you can see this icon, right? Drop down account ID, and there is a drop down menu. Click on sign out. Now we are logging out from the AWS account. Let us verify whether the MFA is enabled or not by simply click on sign into console. Earlier, just we entered the username and password, and that's it. Now, along with those two, you must enter the 6-digit code which is available on your Authenticator app. And that 6-digit code is not a fixed code. Every 30 seconds, the code will get changed. They use a strong algorithms in the backend. Using those algorithms, the code will get generated every 30 seconds. Okay, just wait for 2 minutes. It seems it is taking some time to load the login page. Okay, I will do one thing. Let me close the browser. Let me try to log in again, aws.amazon.com. Click on sign into console. Just like close the browser and reopen just to clear the cache and all. Let me try now. Okay, so I hope my voice is clear. Just I switched the internet just to speed up the internet connection and all. Let me refresh. On sign into console. Can you guys please check from your laptop or somewhere like aws.amazon.com and click on sign in? I'm getting stuck here. I use a different browser also, but there is no luck. You click on sign in link and just confirm whether you're getting the sign in page or not. If you are getting, just give a thumbs up in the GoToMeeting console. Okay, I got it. Okay, no need to verify. Just I got it. Just I use a different URL and okay. So let me enter the email address, password. Now what happened here? It is asking me to enter the MFA code. Without entering the correct MFA code, you are not supposed to log in. You are not allowed to log in simply. So anybody can guess the email address and password, but nobody can guess this MFA code. Nobody can guess this MFA code. Just don't worry. The reason behind this is I use a different URL which takes me to a service called FSX and to a file system which is existing in a different AWS account. But in my this account that is not available. That's why it is error. Because I did not use the home login page. I used a custom login URL of a different AWS account. Okay. So this is how it looks like, right? Whenever you enable the MFA, it allows you to log in along with the username, password, and with MFA code. So as of now, we have seen there are two types of user accounts available, right? What are those two types of user accounts? One is a root user who is going to be the owner of the AWS account. I can say root user. And the second one is IAM user. Now, what is this IAM user? What is this IAM user? Or why we need IAM user? Already we are having a user account. Why we need why we need another user account? The reason is, let us say you're working for an organization and we created an AWS account. We created an AWS account. And in your organization, let us say there are 20 employees. There are 20 employees. And all these 20 employees on a daily basis, they should log into the AWS account and they need to create, manage all the resources. As of now, what is the only way? We need to share the root user credentials with all the 20 users. The same email ID, I mean, single email ID and password. What is the problem with that? The problem is out of these 20 people, few employees might not require full control, like a fresher or an intern or someone who recently joined as a beginner candidate. They might misuse the full permissions available on a common AWS account. That's the first problem. The second problem is out of these 20 people, which user created a server or which user deleted the server, we cannot track. The reason is all the 20 people are using the same credentials, and it will be recorded that so and so user, the Traskill Academy at gmail.com is created the server or it is deleted the server. But 20 people are using the same credentials. To avoid that, or I can say to provide shared access, not the shared account. To provide shared access, we need to use the concept called IAM user. Also, Amazon will never allow you for shared accounts. Shared account means create one user account and share that account across multiple people, which is not at all recommended because we cannot track who is doing what kind of things and all. So with the help of IAM user, we can provide shared access to the single AWS account. Let us say there are 5 employees and there are different teams, developers, QE, and administration team, right? In development, there are 2 users. In QE, there are 2 users. In administration team, only 1 user, let us say. So across different teams, the employees require different level of access. So I can say, here I can say these 2 users require full access on 2 services. There are like 250 plus services available, but these requires full access on EC2 and S3. And QE people requires read-only access all services, for example. And administration team requires full access on entire AWS account, right? I think sounds good, right? The requirement. Because we never ever provide unnecessary permissions to any user. That is what called as least privileged access. Least privileged access means a user is required for an AWS access, whatever the permissions he needs, just give that permissions only. Don't assign unnecessary additional permissions. Always that leads to a problems. So here, to handle these kind of situations, we use a service called IAM, Identity Access Management. What all we can do using this IAM service is, the first thing is, with the help of the IAM service, we can control or we can provide security to the AWS account. Already we have seen, right? By creating MFA, we can secure the AWS account. That's the first thing. Second one, we can decide who can log into the AWS account. And then we can provide permissions of who can access what all services. It is least privileged access. Least privileged access. The entire security of the AWS account is managed by IAM, service called IAM. The important thing is IAM is a global service. It doesn't belong to any region. Doesn't belong to any region means whatever you create in this IAM, they belongs to all regions. It is a global service by using which you can provide shared access and least privileged access. Least privileged access. We can enable multi-factor authentication and all. Let us say I created multiple users. Let us say user 1, user 2, user 3, and all. Like, let's say I created 3 users. What I do as administrator, I will create a user account and I will share a password. And I will ask them to change the password with your own password. So what happened here is user 1 did the password as ABC123. User 2 did a password as 123456. What is the meaning of this? The users are using very weak password which can be easily guessed by anyone, which is a major security concern for the AWS account. How to make sure that these users can set a strong password, or how can we force these users to use a strong AWS account? For that, we have a concept called password policy. We have a concept called password policy. What is the meaning of a policy? Policy is a set of instructions which has to be followed mandatory. Those are the mandatory instructions. Every organization will have their own password policy. As per their rules or as per their requirements, they will set their own password policies. If you ask me how the password policy looks like, let us say the password length must be minimum 10 characters. If someone is using a password with less than 10 characters in the password, that is going to be an invalid password. And then it must have something called uppercase, capital letters, lowercase, number, we call it as a numeric, and a special character. So if you observe, whenever you're trying to set a password, they will display, okay, password length should be minimum 8 characters. It must contain one uppercase. It must contain one lowercase. It must have a number. It must have a special character like at the rate, dollar, pound, and all, right? So they will include these requirements in the policy so that every user must follow this particular password policy while they are changing the password or while they are setting the password. If you force this password policy, do you think your AWS account is a safe and secure? No. Along with this, we have to implement a few other things. What are those? What are those? Can you guess? Age of the password, the first thing, and the history of the password. Okay. Instead of these terminologies, explain it a different way. Let's say on January 1st, I set my password. I set my password. What if I use the same password for 10 years and 20 years, which is not the recommended way? There should be a password rotation. The user must change password for minimum for every 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. That is called as password rotation. Let us say my requirement, my organization requirement is maximum password is 90 days, which means a user cannot use a password for more than 90 days. Means the existing password will expire on March 30th. On April 1st, the password will be expired because the password is more than 91 days. So what the user has to do, the user must change the password once in every 90 days. Or in other way, we can say the password cannot be used more than 90 days. So okay, so whenever he's trying to log in on April 1st, he got some error called password got expired and please set a new password. Assume that here the password is in this case 123456. On April 1st, while he is changing the password, again he set a password like 123456, the same password, which means technically the password, the user is changing the password, but the value wise or string wise, the same password is being set as a new password. To avoid this, there is a concept called remember the password, or we can say password history. I can set that 3 means the user cannot use the previous 3 passwords as a new password. Even if you observe, whenever you're trying to log into your banking accounts, if they say your password got expired and please set a new password, such kind of messages you guys can see, right? Just next time, try to set the same old password as a new password. You cannot. Just try to set the one previous one or before that. So they will set like as a 5 passwords to be remembered, and the user is not allowed to use any password from the recent 5 passwords as a new password. These are the multiple instructions or multiple settings we will set in the password policy in order to make sure that your account is going to be secure. Now, what we do is, let us set a password policy. Set a password policy on the AWS account as per the below requirements. The first thing is minimum length of the password must be 10 characters. One uppercase must is mandatory, one lowercase, one numeric, or I can say one number, one special character, and then password must be changed for every 90 days, or previous 3 passwords cannot be used as a new password. So this is also called as password expired. That is also called as password expired. And previous 3 passwords cannot be used as a new password. And what if the password is more than 90 days old? Allow the user to reset the expired password. If you don't enable that, what happens is going to log in on April 2nd, which already the password got expired. He cannot log in, he cannot set a password by default. One of the administrator must change the password for the user. Means there is a waste of time, right? So here what we can do, we will allow the user to reset the expired password by entering the previous expired password, and he can set a new password also. So with these requirements, let us create a password policy on the AWS account. How to set a password policy? The password policy is a part of identity access management. So first we need to navigate to the service called identity access management. The moment once you visit any service that is available here, recently visited, let us say it's a brand new account, you never visited IAM service, then how to navigate to the IAM service? So here click on the menu, click on all services. Out of these many services, how to identify where I can get that identity access management service? As a beginner, that's a huge thing to identify where you can get that, right? But I am familiar, so I can say that is available under this particular module, security, identity, and compliance. If you check under this, you can see here IAM. But as a beginner, how can we go there? As a beginner, I can't search each every service and I can't identify where exactly it is. For you guys, there is an option called search. Click here and type IAM. See here, IAM. IAM Identity Center is a different thing that we can discuss later. There's a different service. Click on IAM. Which will takes you to the IAM service page. And here you can observe it's a global service. And where we can set the password policy. And you can see root user has MFA because we enabled it. How many groups are there? 0. How many users are there? 0. How many pass policies? 0. Which we are going to discuss, and will create one resource from each and everything. One user, one group, one custom policy. We will use an existing policy and all. Okay. So here on the IAM service, on the left side under access management, don't go for policies. These are different policies. We will see that also. Here there is one option called account settings. Click on the account settings. Then you can see by default there is a password policy. By default there is a password policy. What is the policy? Minimum 8 characters. Password strength. Include a minimum of 3 of the following. means your password must contain at least three from these four categories: uppercase, lowercase, number, and a special character, which is also known as non-alphanumeric characters. And other requirements, password will never expire, means no need to change the password. You can change whenever you want. But this is not in line with my organizational requirements. What I do, I will click on edit here. Instead of using the default password policy, I will select custom. And here, what is the minimum password length? I will say 10, but in the real time, nobody will use 10. Why I'm using 10 is that will be easy for me to set a small password to remember doing the practicals. They use like minimum 15 to 16 characters. Few people use the 21, and in my organization, we use 24 characters. That depends on organizational policies. Okay, here I will say 10 means my password must contain minimum 10 characters. Password strength, at least one uppercase, one lowercase. Set the checkboxes for every requirement, whatever you're looking for. Require at least one number. Require at least one non-alphanumeric character, special character. Then I want to enable password expiration. After how many days? 90 days. Whenever a password is set and being used for more than 90 days, on 91st day, password expiration requires administration reset. Means if I select this checkbox, if your password got expired on 91st day, you can't change the password. You have to wait for the administrator to set a new password for you. In the organizations, we don't enable this one. We will allow the users to reset their expired password. And also, this is a mandatory thing. Allow users to change their own password. Let us say I set the password last week and now I want to change my password because I guess someone might have seen the password while I am entering. If I select that checkbox, automatically I can change my password whenever I want to change. And prevent password reuse. I will say 3 means I cannot use the previous 3 passwords as a new password again. Once you set all the requirements, required things, and click on Save Changes, see here, this will impact any new user creation and all the existing users changing their passwords. Means from now onwards, every user, even the existing, if you have already existing users and they want to change their password, or every new user creation must follow this customized password policy. That's why this configuration will be done the moment once the AWS account got created. Click on set custom. Done. See here, what is the current password policy? Minimum 10 characters, one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, one non-alphanumeric. Password will expire in 90 days. We will allow users to change their own password, and we will prevent password reuse from the past 3 changes. I mean the past 3 passwords. These are like kind of one-time setups, enabling multi-factor authentication on the root account and creating a password policy on the AWS account. These are one-time setups unless your organization has changed their policies. If they decided, okay, from tomorrow onwards, the organizational policy is not 10 characters for the password. Minimum it should be, let us say, 15 characters. Then just go to the same place, click on edit, change this number, and click on save changes. So from that moment onwards, the AWS account should follow the new password policies. These are the initial settings or configurations to be applied on the AWS account. Okay, so we covered the security part, like how to enable MFA and how to set a custom password policy as per the organizational requirements. So are you guys clear on these two things? Any questions, just let me know. I can help. Anybody having any questions on these two? Okay, just raise your hand if you have any questions. I will allow you to unmute. I thought of starting the users roles, users groups also. For time being, I think we cannot uh, get into deeper into the IAM service, but I will show you some of the things for the next rest of 10 minutes also. Before that, like if you have any questions, just let me know. I can take up your questions, or else just I would like to go to some of the small uh, concept, not a kind of a service. Just I will show you that also. Okay, so yeah, just give me a second. Yes, Harsha, you can unmute. You can ask the question.
Question in AWS. Actually, I missed a class.
Sorry, come again.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Sir, actually, I missed a class on Friday. How to create account in AWS.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I missed a
Mhm.
class. Can you please provide that recording
Yeah,
section?
sure, definitely. Actually, on that day, what happened is I forgot to click on record. So what I do is I
Oh,
will create a video for the account creation. Just I will share with you guys. Okay, no
sure.
need to worry.
Thank
Just
you,
I
sir.
will create. I will record again, and I will share that recording link.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody having any questions? But actually, from previous changes from the AWS account, we have an option called a free plan, right? In that free plan, you will not get any charges. You won't get any charges because they offer you 100 credits, and you can use that 100 credits to get cover all the free resources. And once you are done with that 100 credits or up to 200 credits, automatically the free plan will expire. So no need to worry about the bills and all. But if unfortunately, if you are using the old AWS accounts, definitely for a small mistake, you might get a huge bills also, right? But any chance, whenever you go, I mean, if you're not using a free plan account and if you're using something else, if you got a bill, huge bill, what you have to do is just go to the AWS support. You can see something like here, help, right? Help button, and click on support center. And you can create a case that you are using this AWS account for learning purpose, and you got some bill because of like you are not aware of that so and so service got charges and all. And for the first time, definitely you will get a credit waiver. Means they will give you the credit waiver, and I have claimed multiple times on multiple accounts because for every batch I used to create a new AWS account. From now onwards, that is not possible, it seems. What I do whenever I do something called advanced things like a multi-AG, high availability with a multi-AG, especially on the RDS, or whenever we deploy a kind of a project, I use some paid services. And sometimes I forget to delete once I'm done with my work, and I will get some huge bills at the end of the month. Simply, I go to this, don't select technical because you don't get any help from the technical as we have selected a free support plan. Go to account and billing, choose billing, and here, where is that? There should be something called create case. Click on create case, account and billing, service. Here you will see billing inquiry. Here you can see something like billing related one, and just click on additional information. Here you need to type the description. So I have used this. I'm using this account July, August, or September, and I request you to provide a crate waiver for this. Then they will contact you and they will ask you to delete all existing resources on the AWS account. Once you're done with that, they will give you the crate waiver, that whatever the bill you got, that will be that will become a zero. And where to check the bills and all way, on the top right corner, just click on that drop down menu of the account ID and click on billing and cost management. Which will takes you to a billing dashboard page where you can see the bills for every month. I guess there's a brand new account and we can see these bills. Right? Because it's a brand new, right? So no data available. And here on the left side, you can click on bills under billing and payments. And here you can see the bills and all right. What is the estimated total by end of this month? They will estimate as per my usage. I'm not using anything, right? That's why 0, 0. And here you can change like August, July, June, and all, and you can see the bills and all. They will forecast. Like today's it's like 8th, right? If already I started using some paid things, based on that, they will forecast how much amount you might get by end of the month. And here you can see by service, like for what service you are getting, what amount of bill, and everything you can see. Okay. Or I will do one thing, just give me 2 minutes of time. Let me log into a different account and I will show you the bills and all. For a moment, let me pause the screen share. Let me log out from this account and let me go to my other AWS account in which I'm getting some bill every month. So let me show you how the bill looks like and how we can read the bill, how to understand for what service I'm getting, like what kind of bills and all. Because last month I got some bill also doing some kind of POC and all. Just give me a minute. Let me log into the AWS account. Okay, so here you can see just I'm logging into a different AWS account just to show you how to read the bills and all. So here I will go to billing and cost management. So here month here this is how we need to understand month to date cost. Month to date and means in the up today is 8th, right? In these 8 days, I have used $25 worth services, and by end of the month, I'm going to utilize $105. But for what service I'm getting this much amount? For what service I'm getting the bill? This is how we need to identify. So here you can see something called directory services. It is getting charged by $24.12. Last month I used something called FSX, and this month I'm not using that, so $10 bill is getting reduced. Or I can show you in a different way. See, May month AWS directory service is $0 because it's a free trial for 2 months. Here also it's a free, but here zero. Here $24 in the month of August because I utilize the 60 days free trial. After that, I will get a bill. If you observe, the only bill which I got in the August month is for AWS directory service. That is for kind of an active directory, which is managed by AWS. Route 53 is a DNS kind of a thing that is for only $1. And if you want to get the detailed bill for the month of August, click on bills on the left side. And billing period, the September month, right? The current month. In the current month, see for what all services I am getting charged. VPC 0, S3 0, EC2 0. I'm using, but they are under free. But this is not a free service. It's just 60 days free. I'm using it for more than 60 days, which is in Hyderabad region. AWS directory service hourly. So it seems per hour, if I use Microsoft AD standard domain controller, per hour, this is the bill $0.0630. What happened here? It's been like 345 hours. For 345 hours, the bill is going to be $21.76. So this is how I can identify, and just simply I can go to that directory service just to avoid the bill that was created for some kind of a POC. In the 2 months back, I created a POC for a client, and just I forget to delete it because that was a free for 2 months. Later, I forgot to delete it. Just I go to the directory service, and that was in Hyderabad region, right? That's why if I am in the Northern Virginia, I can't see such directory services because that is exist in the Hyderabad. I need to switch to the Hyderabad. Let me delete it just to avoid unnecessary bills for on my account. I can go there and click on directories. I can see the list of directory services running in my Hyderabad region. See here. For this, I'm getting bill. It was created in the month of July 24th. So July to August, that it's a free, and then I'm getting the charges. So how to delete? Just delete directory. Just for the confirmation, I need to type confirm. So the moment once it got deleted, I will not get any bill from now onwards. The same way the servers are running, the same will be visible in the same bills section. Just you can identify in which region, how what servers are running. You can go there, you can verify. If it is not required, you can delete it, especially for personal accounts. Because while we are learning, we create a number of things and we might forget, right? So it is a good thing that you have to create some kind of billing alarms also. If it is not a free plan, and if it is a old account, and if you don't want to get some unexpected bills, always it is recommended to create a billing alarms. How to do that? Just you can go to account, but actually there's a part of a CloudWatch service. Just I will show you. So somewhere here, billing preferences will be there in the account section. So here on my account, it's already enabled. That's why you can see here. AWS free tier alerts delivered, and this also you have to enable. Click on edit, and here you need to select this one and just click on update. Then you need to go to a service called CloudWatch, where you need to create a billing alarm. I will set generally for $1 or $2. So whenever my monthly usage is going to exceed $1, $2, it will send you an email alert. But the CloudWatch we will get after like 30 days or so. At that time, I will show you how to create these billing alarms and all. Whenever you are about to exceed the free tier usage, obviously you will receive some alert that okay, server usage is about to exceed the free 750 hours per month. Whenever it exceeds 85%, immediately you will receive an email alert. Based on that, you can stop or you can delete, and you can avoid unnecessary charges. These are the things which we will discuss during that specific services. While we start the service, we will discuss about like what is the free tier eligible, and how to avoid unnecessary billings. All those things we can discuss inside in those services. Okay, right. So in the next session, tomorrow session, we will get into the service called identity access management, where we will see how to create the users and what are the different types of user access available, like management console access, programmatic access, how to assign those types of accesses, and how to assign individual level of access to each and every user, and how to create a groups, how to assign the permissions with the help of a groups to the users, what is a policy, how to use the existing policies, how to create our own policy. These are the things which we will cover in the tomorrow's session. Each point will cover theory part and then we will complete the practicals also. Okay, right. So do you guys have any questions? Anybody having any questions? Okay, so yeah, so if you guys are clear, we can start the session here. And tomorrow also use the same link to join. Mostly from day after tomorrow, we will change the link. We will switch to Zoom. That will be more user friendly, it seems, so that directly you can ask the questions in the chat box. And even I can see like if you raise your hand and all the things like that will be more easy for me. Zoom is. Let us switch to Zoom from Wednesday. Okay, so yeah, right. Anybody having any questions? Okay, then let us. Okay, Harsha. Yes, give me a second. Yep. Yes, Harsha, you can unmute and you can ask the question.
Sir, you told me you'll create one Telegram group and
That also will be done
you
by tomorrow, and just I will share the link along with the new meeting links. Okay.
oh yeah,
Mostly by
yes.
tomorrow we can do all the things here.
Yeah, yeah. Why? Because if we got any doubts
Yes,
while
yeah,
going
I
on
can
session,
understand. Yeah, I will
we can
create.
discuss.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Thank
will
you, sir.
create by tomorrow and just I will share. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right. Anybody having any questions? Anybody else? Okay, then. Thank you, everyone. I will continue tomorrow.